brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and I am here with my brother from another No Game on Sunday, James. James, my brother.
And so it begins. And so it begins.
You
And
know it's
so
gonna
it
be.
begins. Yeah, I
It
know.
was a tough loss for you guys. It was a tough loss
Yeah.
for you guys. I've gotten my junk talking out for the most part, so I'm gonna let the chat, have
Oh
at it
yeah,
as they will.
they're gonna be abusive, so I'm ready.
Yeah, but what's up? Talk to me. What happened? What happened? I just want to know in your opinion, at least.
Dak Prescott played like trash. The offensive play caller had suspect play callers, and we had a big injury. I'm not making no excuse for the injuries, but when Tony Pollard went out, yeah, that was bad. When he went out, I felt bad. And you know what? Like I said, Dak didn't play good. He didn't seize the moment that I had been waiting for him to do. He didn't seize the moment. And what's up, everybody in the chat all the way through? And that's why we lost, because our defense did everything it was supposed to do.
Facts.
I think that's the biggest thing that I'm frustrated with still right now, is that our defense came to play. They have been talking about it. Micah Parsons been talking about it. The defense been talking about it. And they came in and they handled their business. You know what I'm saying? They scored one touchdown, but it was only because we had a goofy penalty on Donovan Wilson, because we had them kicking a field goal because we got the sack right there. So really, like I said, defense, they just gave up. That's frustrating, because your defense to come in the way it played like it did, and keep you in the game the whole game, you still could have won. That was a game that we should have won. Joe, in my opinion, I'm frustrated with it, because last year, I'm keeping it real, I didn't feel like we were going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. You know what I mean? And so, I didn't have that feeling going in the game. I was a little bit more quiet and nervous because of how I felt. This game, I felt supremely confident. I felt like we should have beat them. We could have beat them, and we should have beat them, but we didn't.
Yeah, it was a tough loss, and especially how it went down. I was kind of teetering back and forth between who I wanted to win, because Niner fans are annoying. And honestly, I was about to tweet right before I got on here, but I ended up eating. Not gonna lie, but I was gonna tweet right before I got on here, and I was gonna say, Niner fans are starting to hover around that border of, I might start hating them a little bit more. This might mean a little bit more than the Giants game or whatever it may be, just because they talk a lot. They do not shut up. It has been constant, and it's ridiculous, some of the stuff they say. And some of the stuff they say is just it's like talking to a child at some points.
They have an air of snootiness. It's kind of like, if you want me to be honest with you, the way I feel like the Eagles view the Cowboys, like they're snooty and they're America's team. We want to just whoop their butt every single time. Well, that's the way I feel like the Cowboys feel about the Niners. I feel like they feel like they're snooty, and they, had the pretty boys, and Jerry Rice and Joe Montana, and they had and Cowboys didn't like that. That's why I really can't stand the 49ers. I can't stand them with all my heart. They're the number one between them and Washington is my most hated teams that I just really can't stand. So, and the fact that they got 5 Super Bowls with us just pisses me off, and I don't want to see them win another one. So, 2020 when they played against the Chiefs, I was praying they didn't win. I was so happy them Chiefs won. I don't want them to win 6 because I got a lot of friends that are Niner fans. I got family members that are Niner fans, and they don't shut up. Y'all Philly fans, y'all don't be quiet. You feel me? Y'all get on my nerves with all the talking and all that. But I'm going to be honest with you, and this ain't no disrespect, and I'm not trying to rest on them old Super Bowls, but y'all got 1 chip. Niners got 5. We done had 9 championship appearances, I believe, a record with the Niners. So that's a deep-seated hater rival with me, and I don't want to see them get 6. And like I said, I hear more of that talk. And so y'all talk, but I feel like we got more than y'all. When they talk, it bothers me because they're right there with us.
Yeah, and we sneaking up on you, brother. We win this year.
You could,
that's 2 in less than a decade.
That would be
that's
2.
You're looking at dynasty numbers.
I hear what you're saying, but we've already been there and done that with a dynasty too. And I don't care if it was the '90s. I don't go back to it, so don't know nobody jumping here and say, "Oh, you always want." I never mention them old Super Bowls. I don't use it to compare people or anything like that. We had a dynasty as well, even though it was in the '90s, it was a long time ago. I can admit that. I don't try to rest on that. You could have a mini dynasty, but once again, we have to see. You guys play. I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, but y'all still have 2 more games to prove that. So. Even if you get to the Super Bowl, you got to win it. I mean, I watched watched the Eagles. I mean, I've watched football since I was 1, but I watched y'all when y'all play against the Raiders. You know, I think it was in '80 when y'all beat us in the championship game. I watched that game. You got there, but you didn't win. I seen y'all play against the Patriots. Y'all got there, but didn't win. So it's good to get there, but you also got to win. So y'all still 2 games away from holding it down. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you look at that game. You know, all the I wasn't born for that game. I'm going to be 100% honest,
Right,
but
right.
I have a bad. I'm a glutton for punishment, right? So as an Eagles fan, for some odd reason, I had to go through their whole history, you know, and obviously the ups and downs are all a part of that. So I remember that game vividly, you know, rewatching it, 3 interceptions, terrible game as far as the Super Bowl goes. Yeah, we had a good team that whole year, and it just fell apart in the championship game. Something that could, you know, I'm not even going to say could happen this year. I think this year, and I was just talking about this before I got on here. Like, I feel like this year I almost want it more than 2017. And it's like in 2017, every year felt like 2017. Every year that we were good felt like 2017. It felt like, you know, oh, this could be it. This could be the first one, but I never felt it, right? You never felt the championship. Now that I have a championship, now that I know what a championship team kind of looks like, right? Assimilation of it. I look at this team and I'm like, this can be a championship team. So now I'm like, we deserve this. Not like, oh, I want it. I need my first one. We deserve this. We have went through a gauntlet this year when it comes to who we've played. Maybe not the best teams at the times or, you know, over the season period, but the storylines we've went through, the people that are just continuously doubting this team. This year feels like the year for us. So I do feel like we're going to sneak up on teams, and that whole history thing is going to, we could rewrite a lot of things right now. One championship is one thing, but 2, like I said, and within a decade, I mean, you're talking about a very good team, and that's with 2 different coaches. You know, shout out to Howie Roseman. He just won Executive of the Year, for the PW, the Pro Football Writers Association. I forget what the actual acronym is, but anyways, he won it. That's the second time he's won it. First time he won it, we won a Super Bowl. So there's like everything. It feels like this could be our year. The Dallas Cowboys, it would have been nice to beat you guys. It would have been nice to beat you guys, but it's gonna feel good beating the San Francisco 49ers, because I'm, and tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm bugging here, but watching that game, there's nothing you guys did, in my opinion, that we can't do to them. And
I agree.
offensively, I feel like Jalen Hurts, and this is no
He's
knock
going to be the
to him.
difference.
He doesn't give up
He's
the
going.
ball, you know.
He's
So
going to be the difference. So we'll
that's
see. I
really
didn't
what
mean
it
to
comes
cut you
down
off.
to. No, you
I don't
good.
mean to cut you off, but that's what I'm gonna echo that sentiment right there. Shout out to my dog Rev Rebel for the $5 holler. Yeah, we need to do something with Kellen Moore. I made a video about how that divorce needs to happen on Monday. Go check out that video and check out the best of it. Final word, because I threw some hot sauce out there, real good out there on that final word about some things. So make sure y'all check that out. But I agree with you. If you were a Philly fan and you watched that Philly game, if you watched that Cowboys Niners game, if you're a Philly fan, you're like, well, if they play like that, we're gonna beat them. If I was a Philly fan, I would. That's the first thing I would think. Well, if they play like that, we're gonna beat the Niners. We're gonna beat them, and they're coming into Philly. Brock Purdy, like I said, I was not impressed with him. I said he's still a pumpkin. He eventually gonna turn into a pumpkin. You know, he did the right thing and not turn the ball over. I think that's the best thing he did in that game. But he wasn't impressive to me. That defense was all over him. He got away with a couple would-be mistakes when Trevin Diggs dropped that interception that he should have caught. So that front was aggressive and after him. You guys got a good front. You guys got the cornerbacks to really match their receivers. We have a good secondary, but I believe you guys got 2 good corners as well. We got the young guy in Bland. But if you look at it line for line, I think the offense is really going to be the difference, because number one, we didn't have the weapons that you guys have. You guys have two legit receivers. I never, I've always said that. Now we've had our battle between Devontae Smith and CeeDee Lamb, but Devontae Smith still is a very legit receiver. We obviously didn't have that as far as Dallas goes, right? So you got a AJ Brown, you got a Goddard, you got a Devontae Smith, you got Miles Sanders, and you got Jalen Hurts. I feel like that's enough to beat those Niners because as bad as we played, we played like trash. Dak played like absolutely. I don't like how Dak played at all. But we still had an opportunity to win that game, even playing as bad as they do. So I don't see why you guys can't beat them in that defense.
Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of Eagles fans are feeling. I think this is, like I said, we deserve this. I think that top to bottom, we've put together a very, very good team. And as long as we are the same team that we were coming into these playoffs as a total, right? In totality. I'm not, obviously there were slip ups, there was bad games, but if we, stick to who we are and go into this game, don't give up the ball. I feel like we can win this game, even if Hurts struggles, even if Hurts isn't having the most prolific, passing game, which he might not. This is a good defense. I know that their pass defense isn't
It's not a great
the
defense,
marquee.
though.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know
the
what I'm saying?
marquee of it.
It's not a great defense. I don't mean to cut you off. Apologize
No, you
again, but it's
good,
just
bro.
not. It's not a great defense. I mean, it's a good defense. I mean, last year I think it was a little bit better. This
Yeah.
year I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It was good, but like I said, that's why I'm still frustrated right now just thinking about it because everybody was talking about that vaunted defense. Our offensive line only gave up 1 sack in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, and our offensive line was not vaunted. You feel me? And they really didn't make the difference. And like I said, I wish that Tony Pollard didn't get hurt because that was an explosive element we needed. But just looking at that defense, and like I said, looking at your guys' offense, I can agree. Like even if Jalen Hurts really struggles in that game, you guys still would have enough to win that game. So really, it's just really good. Going to be pretty much good coaching, playing sound football, and minimizing the turnovers.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game. And shout out to everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all could keep on letting James have it. He's definitely reading all those. They being
I'm reading
respectful
it.
about it though. I love it. I
I
love how
appreciate y'all. I appreciate
nobody's
you.
coming at your neck too hard yet.
Nobody's been coming crazy. I appreciate y'all, but y'all, you know what? Y'all also got to say I keep it real, so y'all can't
Yeah.
just come too hard at me. I keep it real the whole time. I don't be trying to lie about nothing. So maybe they like, you know what? I f with James. He keeping it real right now. I'm gonna be easy on it. If that's the case, I appreciate y'all Eagles fans for not going crazy on me. Hey, because I said y'all should beat the damn Niners.
We got a whole off season though, James. You know what time it is.
Oh,
It's gonna be a
and
whole
if
off
y'all
season.
win it, that's what I said. And I would say this one thing. This one thing. If I wasn't doing social media, I wouldn't be tripping if the Eagles won. Like somebody I think somebody was asking me, somebody asked somebody on Twitter, Joe, who would you rather see get to the Super Bowl, the Niners or the Eagles? And I had a few people, I think Rev jumped in there. A few people you jumped in there and said, oh, I'd rather see the Niners. I want to see the Eagles. I don't know no Eagles. And I'll just keep it real, dog. If I had to see one of the teams get there, I'd rather see the Eagles go. Because number one, y'all people can get mad at me all they want. I'm not no Eagles fan, nothing like that, nothing. But I told you just beginning of the show, I can't stand the Niners more than I can't stand the Eagles. It's more of a rivalry to me. It boils my blood more in my heart for the Niners to win anything and to get to a Super Bowl. So for me, I would definitely love to see Brock Purdy and them Niners go down. And like I said, y'all have one chip. Not hating, but y'all still got to catch up. You could be start being a threat at 2, but the Niners are more of a threat to me right now than y'all because y'all still got to catch up. They're right there. They win. They're above us. They're not going to shut up. I'm not going to hear the rest of this. And if social media wasn't here, I would never hear about you Eagles fans. Let's keep it real. If I didn't have social media, I wouldn't worry about no Eagles winning no Super Bowl because I ain't got to talk to none of you Eagles fans. But because I'm in social media, because I'm doing a show on the Best of Enemies podcast with Joe Castro, and he's an Eagles fan, I have to hear you. And that's why I hate it. But if I wasn't had social media, y'all would not be bothering me right now.
Yeah, and some people are saying, "Wow, that's crazy." I agree. I was tagged in that. I think they were like, do you know any
Yeah, I
Eagles
tagged
fans
you.
or whatever?
Yeah,
And you're
I
like,
said
yeah,
he the
only
only
Joe.
Eagles
Joe, that's the
fan.
only
He
one
the
I
only
really
Eagles
like.
fan I got. And I don't care what people say talking about, wow, that's crazy. How is it not crazy? How are
But
y'all liking the
I see what
Niners
you're
the one?
saying
I
though.
can't. What? No.
I see what you're saying because especially where you're coming from, right? Like I can see like a 20 something, like, a teen, a younger dude being like, nah, F the Eagles, because the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers haven't been the latest of rival, right? And lately it's been more so the Eagles. So I can understand like a younger generation saying that, but I see what you're saying because you guys did play like 10 times in the 90s. Like that was
Right.
literally
And we just played them in
marquee matchup.
back-to-back games in these playoffs, and they beat us, dog. No, and we almost
Yeah.
played them. See, people need to understand. We play the Niners damn near every year. They put us
Yeah.
on the schedule. We play them next year. We don't play them in the playoffs. We play them in the regular season. We play a lot of games. We had a run where I think we played them like 4 years in a row, and they're not even in our division, and we were playing the Niners. They scheduled the Niners against the Cowboys in the regular season because it is a rival. So, hey, like I said, people to each his own. If y'all hate the Eagles and don't want them to go, that's you. Okay, you're not a bigger fan than me because you don't want the Eagles to go and you want the Niners to go. No, you're not. I am older than you. I am old school, and I can't stand the Niners. Okay.
Yeah. He gonna start not being able to stand us either. You know what I'm saying?
We'll
Trust me.
see.
This
We'll see.
year,
Y'all still got to make me not make me not
true.
stand y'all. Y'all got to make me that.
I will say
I
this
don't
year
stand
didn't.
that noise y'all talk. That's what I don't
I will say
stand.
this year didn't scratch my itch in the sense of wanting to take you guys out. Obviously, we went 1-1. There's storylines behind both of them. Both times quarterbacks were out, so it was like we've said it a number of times on this show. It felt like a wash, but that one itch, that's literally the one thing I wanted to do, other than obviously, end it all with a Super Bowl and all that stuff, but beating the Cowboys and just shutting you guys up for good, because you guys can talk. You guys can still talk. It's not like we swept y'all. It's not like we, went crazy or whatever. We beat you. You guys beat us. Next year, now it kind of, starts to talk again. So everybody in here saying, imagine the Eagles choke in the Super Bowl. It would hurt, but hey, we got
y'all
there.
gonna say we got there. I already know what y'all gonna say.
We
Well,
get
we
to
got
the
there.
Super Bowl.
Now
Listen,
can I say one thing, Joe? And I'm not. Hold up, Joe. Before you, I don't want to minimize this because people gonna say it's an excuse. They are, and I get it. And you can come at me and say it's an excuse. Y'all can. I'll feel that one because y'all. I would say it for y'all. But damn, y'all had an easy road to get to the championship game playing against the New York Giants.
We did. If we lose this week, I'll be very upset. If we lose the Super Bowl, I would be upset, but it would be whatever. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I would want to win the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't sit there and be like, oh, we're the worst team ever. If we lost to the San Francisco 49ers and we looked like we didn't belong on the field, I would feel some type of way about this season. And I've said that. I even said that when we made our schedule predictions. I literally said that when we made them. I was like, we can go 14-3 and still lose in the playoffs because I don't think that this schedule is necessarily testing you at every corner. But we're here. So now I need you to make that Super Bowl. I feel like you have the team to make the Super Bowl. So if we don't at least make it, I'll be mad. But I think we have the I think we have the team. We have the team to make it. We have the coaching staff to make it. People are just disrespecting us at left and right when it comes to projections and stuff. So, I don't care, bro. As long as we make it there. As long as we make it there, then we'll tackle it.
I ain't mad at you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you. But like I said, I would love to have that road played against the Giants in our divisional round.
You had Tampa. You act like Tampa was easy or
was
hard.
You right.
Tampa
it
was
wasn't.
Easy.
You right. I ain't gonna lie. Tampa was easy, but let's be honest. Tampa was still a little more of a threat than the Giants. You were scared of Daniel Jones, or would you be scared of Daniel Jones or Tom Brady?
Yeah, no, definitely Tom Brady would definitely. I mean,
I'm just saying.
The thought of Tom Brady, right?
The thought of Tom Brady. The ghost of Tom Brady. Because he ain't, I'm going to keep it real. He ain't the same right now. So I ain't going to say that, the Buccaneers wasn't easy. That was just us trying to get the ghost of road loss pass. You feel me? But
Yeah.
that was a game we definitely should have won regardless, and that would have pissed me off if we lost them because they weren't a good team. So let me just keep it real. So yeah, but still a divisional round. We had to play them in the wild card, a divisional round game playing against the Giants. Boy, I'm licking my chops. We could have played them in the divisional round.
Yeah, Giants suck. Giants were they did good. I can't even hate. I told you prior to the season that I thought
I
they would
said
be
they was
decent.
I said they was frauds
Yeah,
all
you
year
said they
too.
was frauds. I think we were both right in the sense
Right,
that they
right.
overachieved, but then they kind of came back down to reality. I mean, it is what they're going to be interesting. But I want to ask you this, okay? Before I let you off the hook, and for those that followed the show from its inception, this is a draft show. Like in its essence, that's what I can't wait to get back to. So we probably will at least start talking that pretty soon. But I want to ask you because there are some changes being made, some changes that are not going to be made for you guys. Dan Quinn saying that he's not going anywhere. I know you guys hate Kellen Moore. I know, Dak is on the hot seat right now as far as people just hate him. Some people hate him. Some people, are giving him pass. What is this? What does this say about the Dallas Cowboys? We're at the end of the season. Where are you with these Cowboys realistically moving forward? Is it a blow it up, restart thing? Are you on the move on from that? Like, where are you? Where are you with this team?
Um, I made a video. I'm on the Kellen Moore. Like I said, I've made videos where I say I don't love him, I don't hate him, I just in neutral. When he first came on board, I saw the offense. I said, let's give him a chance. That's what I honestly said. Like people who follow my show, I said, let's give him a chance. And I'm a type of person, I want to give you a chance. Yes, you're on my ass, Drew. I've been hearing you the
I knew
whole
he came
time.
back. I knew he was coming back. I'm
I
sorry.
know, and so I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge it, Drew. Yes, I'm not saying no what you just said about Dak, but yes, Dak choked. But anyway, what I was saying was, if you're talking about the team, I try to give everybody from me, a chance. You know what I mean? And so I was trying to give Kellen Moore a chance. But the more I see this offense with Dak, I don't want to see him with Kellen Moore no more because you know what? I need to see Dak take a different level, and I need to see Dak show me some things. And I don't think it's going to be shown with no Kellen Moore no more. I feel like that thing has just peaked. I feel like that relationship is gone as far as it can. And if you're bringing back Dan Quinn, well, Dan Quinn just announced he's coming back. I'm super excited about that because I'm a defensive guy. I'm all about defense. And you can always keep your defense can keep you in the game, as we saw in the Niners. The defense can always keep you in the game, and defense wins championships. So I was happy, and I feel like Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn have a relationship because they were talking last year. So I feel like they're close. I don't feel like Mike McCarthy is close with Kellen Moore, and I feel like Kellen Moore was forced on him when he got the job with the Dallas Cowboys because Kellen Moore was the only guy that wasn't let go. So, and we've heard in the media where Mike McCarthy says he's not a fan of option routes. He's a West Coast guy, and he likes to have the game in the quarterback's hands. Well, I feel like, and they just came out and said that, Jerry Jones wants Mike McCarthy bear as long as Tom Landry. Okay, I think Jerry just be talking, but I get what he's saying. So my thing is, if Mike McCarthy, if he's coming at you like that, and you're not a fan of, Kellen Moore and the option routes, and I don't think y'all the closest, I think you should do something that's beneficial for the offense and Dak Prescott, because I need to see Prescott in something else, because I've already told people, like I said on the final word, if we get a different offensive coordinator and it's fits the needs of Dak Prescott and it fits him and we still don't do it, then I'm saying it's Dak, and I ain't listening to that trash no more about no Dak Prescott. So I've already been on record of saying that he needs somebody else so I can see him do something else, because I feel like if you keep Kellen Moore, it's going to be the same thing next year. Great numbers, a lot of wins, but not a lot of real wins when they count.
Now, let me ask you something, and you might have. Let me ask you this, because, like you said, you guys do put up good numbers, especially when you guys had, the two-headed monster at the wide receiver position. You guys basically had our offense with a more efficient passer at the quarterback last year that we have right now. You had two wide receivers over 1K, the running back over 1K, all that. My question is, what changes when it comes to the playoffs? Why does the mentality change? I've heard a lot, because I do listen, obviously I got a couple friends that are Cowboys content creators, Skywalker Steel. I listen to you guys. I like to try and keep a scope on what's going on, but I've heard a lot of different reasons why. What do you think it is when it comes down to these big games, and why? Because I mean, we all say, you know, Dak chokes, and you know, on paper that's what exactly it looks like, but there is an obvious change, and it feels like it's a mentality change. Is it what happens in these big games that makes such a difference?
Um, I delved deep into it. I think it's just a little bit of a curse too. I feel like Jerry done did some things, and just me. And people can say, I'm gonna say two things though about it. I'll say my curse thought, and then I'll say the other thought, so people don't think I'm weird. So my curse thought is Jerry done did too much, and he done did too much as an owner. And I said that it's hard for me to believe that a owner who comes in the league and wins 3 championships right off the rip and then goes 20 something years without winning something doesn't just go back to winning championships. I feel like that just don't be happening in sports. I ain't never really seen that in sports. That would be something like a miracle-ish if it happened in sports. So that's what I look at, because you've done a lot of things. We still talk about the Jimmy Johnson thing. You got everybody in the ring of honor. You still won't put him in there, and this is the dude that got you the chips. I feel like certain things like that could keep you out too. We just don't know. Like, I think those things are real. But if we're talking about the football side of it, I feel like, you know, I don't got no finger for that. I'm gonna keep it real, Joe. I don't feel like our team went in that Niners game like we did last year and was fearing them. You get what I'm saying? We did what we're supposed to do. That was on the quarterback, and that's why I said the quarterback, the offensive coordinator, he got to go, and the quarterback need to step up. I don't think, and then Mike McCarthy, you know, they said, you know, suspect running 35 seconds off the clock, but I like Mike McCarthy. I want Mike McCarthy to stay. I like him as a head coach. I've never shied away from not wanting him, so I want him to stay. But I feel like, you know what, more has got to go, and I feel like that dynamic right there is causing things to not take it to the next level. But as I said, my fire is on Dak Prescott. Keeping it real, ask anybody. My fire is on Dak Prescott. I don't want to hear no excuses from him no more. You know what I'm saying? He got to do it. We had the team. Even if things break down, you still got to be the guy to rise above. You feel me? If an offensive player like a Tony Pollard goes out the game and it's on you right now, or you got to make some really good plays and take care of that ball and get us over the hump and make it happen, then you got to do it. You can't falter in those type of games to me if you're a franchise guy and you're the guy. You got to make those plays, and I don't want to hear no excuses. So I think that was the biggest factor, and he's got to take a next step if he can, and I think it has to be with somebody else. And if we keep the same thing, like I said, bro, I don't feel good about it's going to be different next year if you're keeping that dynamic together. It's got to go, and I need to see something else. And if Dak can't do with that something else and it caters his need, then I'm not hearing that stuff about Dak Prescott no more.
Yeah, it's, you know, and it's crazy because I will say, to see the overhaul that you guys did when you guys got Mike McCarthy and to keep a Kellen Moore, it's kind of unprecedented. How many times do you see that? I mean, that you see a guy that's kind of already pinned in a position, you know what I'm saying? So, you know,
Because he's the
I don't know.
golden goose. He was the golden goose. See, that's why I said it's different, you know, with your organization and mine. I think some people pointed out, but I'd already said it anyway. Somebody pointed out, but I was already saying it. My heart never spoke it. Like when the Chiefs had Alex Smith, they knew they knew Alex Smith was good. Like Andy Reid came in there and made Alex Smith good, right? Just like Jim Harbaugh, but Andy Reid got Alex Smith, you know, balling, right? But he still went out and got Patrick Mahomes. You feel me? Y'all had Carson Wentz as right here, right? But y'all still drafted Jalen Hurts, and y'all drafted him early when y'all still had Carson Wentz, and people were like, "Whoa, why are you doing that? Ain't you got your franchise guy already?" You get what I'm saying? So right there is like, we don't care. We're going to do whatever we're going to take to win. And if this guy can't do it, we're going to move on from you and we're going to do something else. And we've seen teams say, okay, you know what? We've tried enough of this guy. And I'm not understand. People don't think I'm just slandering Dak Prescott right. I'm not. I'm just saying, you've seen teams say, hey, we see this, but we're going to do this. So I feel like that dynamic doesn't happen with Dallas. You get what I mean? They'll stay with something if they put their money on it. Just like with Jason Garrett, I said that we kept Jason Garrett for 10 years, bro. He first 3 years out the gate, he had a losing record. His fourth season, when everything was on the line, he had a good season. He got a 5-year deal after mediocrity, dog. So that tells me that was their guy. You feel me? And they wrote it out because it was their guy. They're trying to prove it. So now you bring in a Kellen Moore who's from that Garrett Linehan-ish tree. He is your golden goose. They don't want to look like, well, we made a mistake with Kellen Moore, so let's just keep on going with him. And he's got good offenses. It's not bad, so let's keep it. But just because it looks good on the outside, don't mean it's still good. That's why y'all drafted Jalen Hurts, right? Just because Carson Wentz was good on the outside, y'all maybe saw something in that background and said, we're going to go ahead and get Jalen Hurts just in case. You know what I'm saying? And you see what happens. Your team is better, in my opinion, than it was with Carson Wentz. Because I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had the ability, but Jalen Hurts is showing me he can't throw that ball. He does have ability, and then he has the stuff on the outside. Now, he has to show it in this championship game, right? He's still being evaluated, in my opinion, but he's got to show, what a lot of people are saying about him. He's got to show in this championship game. So to me, it's a big championship game for Jalen Hurts, in my opinion, because a lot of people are saying, are you the guy to be able to do that too? Because this is your time to show the world. And even if you get to the chip, it's going to be his chance to show the world. So people are going to have that maybe thought about him too, right? If you guys don't come out on top in that game and he doesn't play the greatest, that talk will come around him. You know what I'm saying? Right. But Dak has more years, right, than a Jalen Hurts. So the talk is more with the Dak Prescott than the Jalen Hurts because he just kind of started this road.
Yeah, I think give it a year to. I think this year will be very understanding. Excuse me. I think we'll be very understanding. But you're right. Soon enough that question is going to come up. If if he's not able to finish the job. Especially this team is very well built. So this is there's going to be some fans that write him off after this year if it doesn't happen, especially if he doesn't have a good showing. So I'm trying not to think of that. I did tell you prior to this show that I reached out to my boy Eric Crocker. I did tell you that, right? Yeah, so he might be coming on pretty soon. He just reached out to me. He's getting out of a meeting. So he used to play for the 49ers. And he is a DB. He used to be a DB for the 49ers, worked for the
I remember
49ers podcast. So we might have him on for just like 15, 20 minutes, just talk a little bit about the Eagles 49ers game coming up. And I just thought it would be fun to, get somebody on here to kind of poke fun at you as well. You can never have too many. You can never have too many, but no. So look, I think that this season we can rewrite a lot of narratives for the Eagles. The Cowboys had a lot of things in their way that they could have rewritten as well. And I think to a certain extent, you guys did. You guys slayed two dragons. You obviously haven't won a road home game in how many years, crazy amount of years. You did that. You didn't beat Tom Brady throughout. Yeah, you didn't beat Tom Brady throughout his career. You finally do that. So this loss might be a microcosm of what this, front office is doing, or it might be that the San Francisco 49ers are just that good this year. And I guess we'll figure that out.
They're not that good. I'm not giving them that.
I really don't think so either.
I'm not giving them that. They're not that good this year.
I think they're a good team. I think they're a decent. They're a good enough team to obviously win 12 games in a row. They are at the championship game, and we're going to talk to Eric, and we'll see how he feels. But I don't think that it's as close as people are trying to make it out to be. I think that they have some very good players. I think we have some very good groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that you look at the defensive line, I think that's a perfect example. They have Nick Bosa, who's a great player, one of the best at his position, the best, depending on who you ask, right? But you look at our defensive line as a group, and I think we topped that. You know what I'm saying? They got Trent Williams on the offensive line, but our offensive line as a group, I think we topped that. So I think our team is a lot better. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not sitting here saying we're going to blow them out. I'm not sitting here saying, they don't deserve to be here. I'm just saying I'm not that afraid. As an Eagles fan, I'm not that afraid. And, I'm sure people are going to try and make me afraid, but I don't know. I just don't see it this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
No,
wrong.
you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. And even if Eric jumps on here, I'm going to go back and forth with him and say, nope. No matter what Eric Crocker tells me, you ain't wrong. I like I said, I have a feeling I know my team a little bit, and I had that feeling last year that they were a better team. I just felt like they just had that kind of they had that factor last year, and I was like, damn, I don't really. If we can get past the Niners in that first round, I mean, that divisional round, we might go ahead and go to the chip. That's what I felt last year. I felt like they had a powerful team. That defense was really tough. This year, it didn't feel like that secondary was as good. Yes, they had those linebackers and Boza, and but just didn't feel that way. I don't know, it just didn't feel that way. And then when I watched them play against us, I was like, oh man, come on, dog, how we losing? You know what I mean? Not disrespecting them as a squad, but how we losing these dudes? We should have just whooped them, man. It's frustrating when you don't get defensive performances like that. You feel me, big dog?
Yeah.
You just don't get defensive performance like that. When you get a defensive performance like that, you don't waste it. You get what I'm saying? Because this is what I say as well, big dog. Nobody knows the future. You can sit there and say we'll be back next year. We don't know that. You can have a major injury next year. We saw when Dallas had 2014, right? We played that excellent year. That BS call against the Packers, but we all Cowboys felt like, man, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back. Romo gets hurt in like game 3 against you guys in Philly. Season's over. You get what I'm saying? Just that quick. So all your expectations that you had were over. So when you have the opportunity to win and you can do it, you must win now because tomorrow is not promised in this league.
Yeah, it's very true, and that's kind of where we're sitting right now as well. I mean, you look at the free agents, and I mean that's another topic as well. If you look at the Cowboys situation,
Mm-hmm.
but you look at free agents for the Eagles, and this team isn't going to be the same next year. I'm sure that they're going to bring some guys back. They're going to try and bring as many of them as back as they fiscally can, but it's not going to be the same team. And I think the players know that, the fans should obviously know that, and the front office knows that. So, a lot of pressure is on every team in this league. Like you said, you don't have many opportunities unless you have Tom Brady at quarterback, but you don't get many opportunities to make it to the Super Bowl. So when you do that, when you do have a realistic chance, you have to seize that opportunity. And I think that kudos to the 49ers because they were able to kind of see early on in this season that they were lacking in the running back position. That
Mm-hmm.
trade ended up sparking their run. You know what I'm saying? As much as we want to nitpick maybe their schedule, at the end of the day, they're doing what they're doing.
They were smart.
Yeah, that was a great trade. And some people saying maybe the best trade of the season. We'll see what happens. I still think that the Eagles trade for AJ Brown really just changed the face of this team. I think that
I will agree with that.
That one trade, I
because
think
it gave y'all attitude. I think
exactly.
I'm not gonna put it on the level of T.O., but I'm gonna put it on the level of T.O. for the fact that when y'all got him, y'all got attitude. Y'all already had attitude, but he gave y'all that attitude, like, okay, yeah, we were out to really whoop y'all. And I feel like AJ Brown gave y'all that attitude. Whereas if you didn't have him, Devontae Smith would have been a good receiver for y'all. He still would have been a good receiver. But the dynamic changed when y'all added him. In my opinion, it kind of gave y'all the attitude thing, the attitude kind of. And I don't feel like, just like I said, McCaffrey was a smart move for them because they felt like they probably weren't going to get there without a McCaffrey. Like if they didn't add McCaffrey, you probably wouldn't see them there now. So that was this smart of them to see that and jump on that. But I will say this, Joe, when you said about free agency with Dallas, we don't have any major guys. We got a couple guys, but not major. We got 2 guys, Terrence Steele. Definitely want to re-sign him. But when I look at the team, the dynamic, we're still, I think, the 3rd youngest team in the league at 25 years old across the board. So the front office is goofy about certain things, but I will say they do a good job of keeping this team young and keeping the team homegrown. So in that aspect, we're not bad in there because we're not an old team. So people that are coming back are not old. So, we'll see.
And y'all had some good drafts. The past couple of years, y'all have had some good drafts. I mean, maybe they're watching the show and they're seeing your mock drafts because we've been hitting on a couple of them.
We've been hitting. And make sure y'all check out that selfish plug. Make sure y'all checking out our draft this year. It's going to be awesome. My guy Los asked us, are we going to be doing paired streams when we do our draft? Hell to the yeah, we're going to be doing all that. It's going to be fire. This is what we started out as a draft thing. And then we just kind of rolled it into the regular season and just kind of grew and blew up. But yeah, draft thing is
Yeah.
what we're definitely hitting on for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I really can't. I'm trying to, hold off as long as I can, but I've already dropped some, mock drafts and stuff. I'm ready
Yeah, I
for the
say,
draft. There's
yeah,
some
yeah.
dogs out there, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 130 people between both chats. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. I've seen
Yes.
some people on my Facebook side. I don't have my Facebook set up, so if you want to be in the chat, or at least if you want to see your name in the chat, come on over to the YouTube side, and you can definitely do that. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. I want to say quickly, just a quick, there was a member of our community, because I was looking through our comments, and the last comment I found was on a Best of Enemies podcast. One of our subscribers, he lived in Georgia. He was a diehard Phillies fan. He passed away last month. Jeremiah Butler. You might have seen his name, scrolling through the chat at
Yeah,
some point.
you know what?
Yeah, that's why I
I ain't
wanted to
gonna
say it, because
lie.
he was heavy.
Yes, yes,
He was
because
heavy
I
in the chat.
seen that when I seen your community page, and I seen that name, and I said, "Why have I seen that name before?" Like
Mhm.
I didn't, because I didn't know who, but that name sparked like when I seen that name. So, man, condolences to the family.
Definitely.
That's really tough to hear, because I remember seeing his name in the chat numerous times, man, and that's really tough. And I just prayers go out to his family, and that's just tough, man.
It
Just
really
prayers
is.
to go to
Yeah.
his family, and
I found
when
out.
you see somebody in the
Yeah,
community on either side that you kind of grew with, it feels like it's
exactly.
tough. So salutes. I mean, shout out to his family. So, like I said, prayers, and my heart goes out to him.
Yeah, I found out yesterday in a live, and it even now, just thinking about it chokes me up. But I say that to say this: we do have 125 people in the chat right now, and you guys are all family. That's why we ask you guys to keep it respectful in the chat, and you guys do. So thank you so much for that. But that's what the family that we've built is, something special to me, and I think I can speak for James as well.
Yes,
Here, you guys
yes.
keep it respectful. We talk football, and it's a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying? But I knew you wouldn't care if I took a second to just say that, but I
Heck
just
yeah,
want
that
people
yeah.
to know that, you know what I'm saying? Somebody from our community that would be in the chat right now, we lost. So rest in peace to Jeremiah Butler. And I wanted to say it on this platform as well, because this is our shared platform. And he was a member of this community as well. So I just wanted to take a second and say that. So yeah, but now we'll get back to football and do what he would have loved for us to do, and that's
Right,
argue about our
right, right,
teams.
right,
So
right,
it is what
right.
it is. But no, look, you look at both of these teams, you look at the Eagles, you look at the Cowboys, you look at everything that's on the line, right? We talked about it early in the season. There's different things on the line for different people. Jalen Hurts had to prove he was a quarterback. He's exceeded those expectations, right? Dak had to kind of prove some other things. I think that in ways he may have exceeded some expectations, but in some ways he's definitely, come under the bar. So what is, because Kellen Moore is most likely not going anywhere, right? And the
Well,
Eagles,
I hope I'm not gonna throw that in the air. Let's just not throw that in the air. Shout out to my dog landlord for the $5 holler. But I don't want to throw that in the air, dog. Just don't throw that in the air. Kellen most likely not be gone. Don't throw that in the air. And I want to answer this question right quick though, Joe. Before you
yeah,
answer that, I think. Because Drew says, question: are Dak and Kirk Cousins the same QB? And because I know a lot of people have been saying it, Shady, you go, a lot of people have been saying it. I don't know. I'm being very honest with you. I think Dak is better than a Kirk Cousins. I'm not scared of Kirk Cousins, but I think if we want to be honest, I think the league, just from me, looks at Dak like, I don't know if we're scared of Dak Prescott, when we play against him. So I feel like he's got to kill some demons right now, I feel like, because he's starting to get that label. You get what I'm saying? He's starting to get a label, because I don't care what you're saying, but once you're in the league for so long, right, Joe, people start saying this is what you are.
yeah,
Okay. So it's year 7. He got to rise above that, because the talk is going to be coming, especially when you're not making games and you're not winning big games. Same thing was happening
exactly.
with Romo. Romo was a great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But he choked. You know what I'm saying? When it mattered most. I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to sit there and say he's a Kirk Cousins, but he definitely got to do some proving with these next couple of years, especially if we're getting into the playoffs year in year out and if we're not winning those. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, you are. Quarterbacks are judged on their postseason prowess and obviously what you do during the season. But if you get to the postseason and you can't do anything, and I'm not saying that he can't, because he has had a couple good games and there's been games that weren't necessarily his fault for losing. But
Yeah,
at
in
the
the
end of the
playoffs,
day,
right?
you look at the total number of wins when it comes down to the quarter, and that it's unfair. It's fair, however you want to look at it. That's just how it works. So you're right. Once it gets to that point, any quarterback is susceptible to falling into that trap. You know what I'm saying? You get outside of yourself a couple times in the playoffs and you're labeled as something. So it's not going to go away now after that, right?
I don't
It's
want to hear
definitely
that
not
number
going to go
one
away.
defense stuff. I'm jumping in the comments. Too many people, I don't like that. That's, to me, it's an excuse. I don't hear that number one defense. Dallas, we lost to the number one defense. Man, Dallas could have beat that defense. Okay. I
They
don't
could
want
have.
to hear it. We lost to the number one defense. No disrespect to anybody, but no. And if you ask me, yes, I feel like Dak has peaked. I said it numerous times, and he needs to get another coordinator to, even if he's peaked, that can, you know, maneuver around that. I've said it, so I'm not running away from it. You're not gonna, oh yeah, big game. You said that. I can't believe. Yeah, I said it. I don't care what you think about what I said. Okay, yeah. So as far as that goes with the whole situation with that, like you said, you don't use that. It was the number one defense, and that's why we didn't win. No, it's not. We could have beat that team. I don't want to hear it was the number one daggone defense. We should have won. We were moving that ball on that defense. That defense was not like, oh my God, it didn't look like that. Man, go ahead on, man. We should have won that daggone game. I don't want to get, I'm going to start getting mad, Joe.
Hey, I ain't mad at you, bro. I feel you, man. I definitely look. It's tough because now you got to answer those questions, right? And once look, the Eagles, if their season ends early, I'm gonna sit here and like I said, I hope that we win the Super Bowl. I think that we should. I think that we can. I think that we will. I think I can. I think I can. But when you lose early, you unfortunately get asked all these dumb questions, even by your
Mm-hmm.
fan base. And I'm not calling, I'm not calling anybody dumb. I'm not saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah, 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 for
especially
sure.
by your fan base. You know what I'm saying? It opens the door to all that. Look at me last year, right? Last
Right.
year we get blown out in the playoffs, and I'm sitting here yelling, "The world is crashing" on Jalen Hurts, and now look at Jalen Hurts. So it's going to be tough with Dak. It is going to be tough with Dak, and if I take my Eagles, fandom off for a second, that's a really, really tough situation you're in. Because yes, he does dominate the division. That's a known fact. You guys are winning with him. He is a known commodity during the regular season. But the questions are there, and I think that the questions are only going to get louder. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I'll answer a question from a Cowboys fan too. He says, "Are y'all scared that Hurts the next Wentz once y'all pay him $55 million?" First of all, I don't think we're going to pay him that much. I hope we don't have to pay
Yeah.
him that much. Yes and no. Yes and no. I get nervous, and it's not about Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying that he in particular. Any quarterback that you pay that amount of money, there's got to be a little bit of worry. There's got to be a little bit of, all right, make sure we get the same product after, right? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not afraid that he's going to be trash or something's going to fall off. I think that he has that worker's mentality. So yes and no. That's really where I am. Yes and no. I do feel you have to worry and you have to make sure that they got the mindset for it. But I think that Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that he has a mindset for it. He's going to be, try and get better every year. He's going to try and get better every year. So I'm not afraid of giving him a bag. You have to do it with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to get that money. You know what I mean? So, hey, I trust him. I trust him off the field just as much as I trust him on the field. And I don't think I've ever been able to say that about an Eagles quarterback. I really don't. Carson Wentz, there was issues about him as a leader in the locker room. Donovan McNabb, there was questions about him as a leader in the locker room.
Yes.
Obviously, he was out partying prior to the Super Bowl. So you look through at least my lifetime as an Eagles fan, Jalen Hurts is probably the most steady quarterback, steady figure that we've had in Philadelphia. And so, I mean, realistically, I can't be afraid of him getting that bag. I would be happy for him to be the guy leading this team, at least for the next couple years, and he keeps on
Well,
getting to prove
like I
people
said
wrong.
though, Joe. This game is gonna have eyes on him, like Tupac. All eyes on him. I don't care. They're gonna be looking at your team, but they're gonna be looking at Jalen Hurts too, because people are saying that he's an MVP candidate. He's this, he's that, and he's still got to prove. Like he hasn't proved anything. He won one game right now in the playoffs against the New York Giants. Okay, and like I said, I'm not taking anything away from him, but he only won one game in the playoffs against the New York Giants. This is a big game for him and the team, but mainly him, because all eyes are going to be on him and see how he performs against this defense. And if he goes out having this MVP candidate and does not play like that, then, like I said, questions will start to come. He'll get a little more grace period than a Dak Prescott because he's been in the league less, but them questions are going to come to him too. If he doesn't do it this year, those questions will creep. They'll look and like, okay, you had all this right here and you didn't do it. People will say it. Other people will say, man, he ain't been there this long. We got to see, at least he got us to a championship game, right? But the people will start to point to, yeah, you beat the Giants, though, in that divisional game. When you played a tough squad, he didn't win. People are going to say that, Joe. It's just whether you like it or not.
No, I know. And, I look at, and I've said this from the jump, and I said this even when we made the preseason predictions and schedule predictions. I look at the game inside the game, and I see the improvement that Jalen Hurts has made, so I want to continue to see that. This team would not be the same without what Jalen Hurts has added to it. So there's going to be a lot on both sides. There's people that still hate Jalen Hurts, that see everything he's done and still think he's trash. There's people that put him as the worst quarterback going into this, NFC Championship game, which makes no sense to me. But that's going to happen. Right now, all I can control is my emotion surrounding whatever is going to happen Sunday. This Sunday would hurt way more than next Sunday or 2 Sundays from now or whatever it may be. This loss, if we lose to the 49ers, and it's not because I think the 49ers are trash, not because I think that, we should just mollywop them, whatever it may be. I think we have a team that should be able to make it to the Super Bowl. If we don't make it to the Super Bowl, then I do think that we kind of failed. If we get to the Super Bowl and it's a good game and we, just lose, it is what it is. I would be crushed, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that it's a failure. I think that it's a good step forward, and I think that we would be a team. No matter what happens Sunday, I think we're going to be talking about this team around this time next year. So I take solace at least in that. I know that this is not just a flash in the pan. We got a team for a while. But hey, it starts Sunday. That's all that matters to me. It starts Sunday.
Man, I do not want to see no.
Win.
I can't stand your Eagles, but I just can't. I don't want to see no damn Brock Purdy. I can't. I'm tired of hearing about him. I'm tired of hearing about the night.
You want me to send you like an Eagles jersey or something, brother?
No, don't send me no Eagles, nothing. I ain't rooting for y'all. I just don't. If it could be a tie, just let it be a tie.
I feel you. So let me ask you this. We have like 7 minutes, right? I want to ask you this. I know you're not our friend. Yeah, we get it. We best of enemies. But if you had to give the Eagles any advice, if you're going into that locker room and you're in front of the Eagles coaching staff and they're torturing you for information, because I feel like that's the only way you would actually help them. But what would you tell them? How would you tell this coaching staff? How would you tell this Eagles team to beat the 49ers?
Well, offensively, run that ball. I feel like you can run that ball on them. Go after Boza. We know how much his pass rushing ability is, but go after him. Run. Put that line. You guys have one of the best lines in the offense. I mean, in the NFL. You guys are huge, and I think that's going to be a big difference too. Our offensive line contained them. Like I said, they only gave up 1 sack, and our offensive line is not the greatest. But Tony Pollard was getting yards. We were able to move the ball. You have to attack those. You have to attack those pass rushers in the run game. So I'm saying I'm overloading that line. I'm coming after Boza, and I'm making him defend that run. Okay. And then, like I said, I think that secondary is not the best. Okay. So I definitely think that good play action Okay, good play action is going to really work against you guys. And then Jalen Hurts needs to really run that ball in this game. I think if Jalen Hurts is healthy, that tack them with that RPO. I think that's going to be huge in that game. Dak got some runs in that game. He got flushed out the pocket, and he got 2, I believe, first downs due to running. Dak ain't that running guy no more. He looks big and prodding now. If you got Jalen Hurts can run that ball. You feel me? So I think that's going to be key right there. Jalen Hurts really needs to get passing and running in this game. He really needs to get that run game off. And then on the defense, make Brock Purdy, like I said, I'm pressuring. I don't think you guys have to really blitz him a lot because our front was getting after him. Okay. Our front was getting after him. I think the main thing is lock those receivers down and make him beat you. Make him make those big throws. Make him make those critical throws because I think he's going to turn the ball over. He almost had a couple would-be interceptions against us. When they got that pressure on him, he was just throwing that ball. Get that pressure on him. Really lock down those receivers. I don't think like a lot of zone. I'll be doing a lot of press on those guys because you got the corners that can do it. I would really press those guys, make him have small windows that he's got to complete those passes in because he's not that good when he has to do that. And that's what I think. I think you really have to put the game in Brock Purdy's hands. We shut down Christian McCaffrey. He had 35 yards rushing that game. That's why that offense looked really normal because we shut down the run game. So you shut down Christian McCaffrey. Debo Samuel didn't do nothing against us because we kind of hedged him. So I think if you go after those 2 elements of the game, of course they got Kittles, but I think if you go after those 2 elements of the game, shut down Christian McCaffrey, press those receivers, I think it'd be that would be the good outcome for you guys.
It's gonna be a fun game, man. I'm excited, bro. You know, I'm excited because we play Sunday. I know you guys don't, so I just wanted to make that clear. That's why I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? But, I had to get my last shot at. But I do got to get onto a phone call actually right now. But James, we gonna come back. This was kind of like an extra one. We've done like 3 in like 7 days at this point.
I had to get the abuse out of here. Get
it over with.
So y'all can't keep talking about me every damn show anymore. Don't stop to keep talking to me about it. Y'all already talked about it. Okay. I just hope y'all
got it out your system. They gonna still talk, and I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Shout out to everybody in the chat, though. We got 120 people still in here. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you guys are. But yeah, James, I do got to get out of here, man. You want to say peace to the people before I do the little spiel about, you know?
Yeah, man. Peace to everybody. Make sure y'all tune in. You know, we got the draft coming up. Hey, had another great job. I appreciate all y'all. Cowboys, Eagles. Appreciate the chat. Love y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. I'm Joe. That's James. And the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, baby!